Well, it's thought of as the party of scolds, and they do need to move away from that, especially if they're looking to build a coalition large enough to win critical elections. And really, I think a lot of Americans are fatigued by constantly like looking over their shoulder, worried that they might say the wrong thing, worried that they might be cast off as some sort of bigot or racist because they accidentally used a word that's no longer in vogue with the whole of the Democratic Party.
Dude, they're so fucking like this nonsense. It's like acting like racism and bigotry don't exist. I'm really bothered by this, okay? Because the reality is many people in America struggle with racism and bigotry, okay? It's a real struggle. It's a real thing. And we need to continue to acknowledge how real it is and continue to move in and examine this shit. But like, I am tired of these right-wing influencers, and then somebody like Anna, the new like sort of leftist move is to like, oh, well, we need to stop calling people racist. And it's like, no, we need people to start acknowledging their fucking racism. And you know what I'm saying? And it's like, if you can handle a world where you're allowed to like say the F slur, and that's fine, then you can handle me calling you a fucking racist and you sorting your shit out. But don't tell me that you are like, oh, don't tell me that there have to be mean words, but the minute I call you out on your racism or your misogyny, you're fragile and you like fall to pieces. It's like, fuck you. If you're going to call me the F slur, then I'm going to fucking tell you you're a goddamn racist. And you should look at that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what the f, bro? They're such fucking clowns. Like, oh, how dare you call me a racist? Now I'm going to call you the N-word. And it's like, dude, f off. You right-wingers, they're so soft, dude. They can't. They are the softest, snowflakiest, whiniest bitch fucking mommy do my laundry motherfuckers on the planet, bro. I know, dude. They are such fucking candy asses, bro. They are the weakest motherfuckers on the planet.
Look, I think most Americans are good people. And I think, you know, when culture changes, we have to have some grace with individuals to change along with it or to adapt with those changes. I think most Americans are good people who are not bigoted, who are not racist, who are not hateful, but want to live in a pluralistic society that treats all sides and all identities fairly. And what you kind of see with the Democratic Party right now is just this hyper emphasis on all the things that this country has done wrong in the past, what needs to be done moving forward to right those wrongs.
All the things we've done wrong in the past, you know, 400 years of slavery, redlining, right? You know, women not having any rights, women losing some more rights a couple years ago. Like, dude, what is she saying? She's like, oh, everybody's just focused on the bad shit. Like, yeah, like colleges are being blackmailed. Fucking people are being hauled off to Louisiana and put in detention camps for writing op-eds that are remotely critical of the U.S. government. And Anna's like, oh man, they're just focused on the negative. Like, yeah, I'm sorry that people are getting picked up by the Gestapo and shuttled away to life imprisonment in El Salvador. But you really should perk up and look at the fucking bright side. You know?
And in the meantime, there's just a lot of hateful rhetoric being spewed at people who might have identified as Democrats their entire lives, might have voted as Democrats their entire lives. But there might be a social issue here or there that they're not comfortable with. Or maybe they're worried about what they're experiencing in the big city that they're living in that's currently being run by Democratic lawmakers, Democratic governor or mayor. And they want to see some changes and reforms. But if they voice...
She's talking about herself right there. Dude, she's literally talking about herself. Look at what she just said. How she said like, oh, somebody who voted Democratic their whole life, but now they're living in a big city having issues with their Democratic governor or mayor. Dude, oh my God, she is literally like talking about herself. Watch this. This is her getting yelled at for being bad with the homeless. Dude, and she's talking about Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass.
And what you kind of see with the Democratic Party right now is just this hyper emphasis on all the things that this country has done wrong in the past, what needs to be done moving forward to right those wrongs. And in the meantime, there's just a lot of hateful rhetoric being spewed at people who might have identified as Democrats their entire lives, might have voted as Democrats their entire lives, but there might be a social issue here or there that they're not comfortable with, or maybe they're worried about what they're experiencing in the big city that they're living in that's currently being run by Democratic lawmakers, Democratic governor or mayor, and they want to see some changes and reforms. But if they voice their opinion on those reforms, they'll get dogpiled all over the internet, and they'll be out, made out to be like a terrible person. And I just.
And then they'll end up on the Megyn Kelly show, right? Just embarrassing the shit out of themselves. Oh my God, dude. She literally just ran her entire life story there from. That was like, I wonder if it was cathartic for her.
What I'm seeing on the right now, and again, I don't know if this is just what happens to be part of the culture on the right or if it's a, political strategy. There's less judgment and more openness to absorbing people into their party. Mm-hmm. And that's how you win.
There's less judgment and more absorbing people into their party. But no, there's only no judgment if you are like transphobic, right? And anti-Democrat. Like, what is she talking about? You try to defend trans people and try to enter the Republican Party, okay? And tell me how that fucking goes for you. Or like say, hey guys, we really need to get in touch with our racism and do a little bit of anti-racist work, but I am a Trump voter. Tell me how that's going to work out for you. That is such bullshit. You only get in there if you agree to a few core tenets. First off, that you have to reduce the entire transgender rights issue into the phrase men and women's sports. That's number one. Number two, right? That's the transphobia. Number two is you need to agree that Democrats are bad, okay? That Democrats are liars and you don't know why you voted for them. And number three, yes, it has to be about immigration. You have to say, like, crime is bad and the immigration is out of control. And you have to agree to those things. I feel like the homeless is like tied into the crime, right? They like to blame the crime on the homeless or whatever, the blight. But you have to like submit to those things. And you can't say a bad thing about Trump. Like, come on. And I like, though, what somebody said there. Like, they're welcoming to Nazis, right? Less judgment for Nazis. Like, I guess the Republicans have to be more welcoming because they literally share the party with, like, Kanye and Nick Fuentes and, like, most of the fucking mass shooters. You know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, when a mass shooter with the N-word on his gun is in your party, I guess you have to be pretty flexible about who you allow in, you know?
That's how you win. Now, look, I'm not saying, oh, Democrats need to throw their principles out of the window. They should, absorb, a Nazi or a self-described Klansman. No, I'm not saying that. But
oh, yeah, you got to be a self-described Klansman, right? That's Anna's thing. If you don't self-describe as a Nazi, you can't be called a Nazi, right? In Anna's world. You
and I both know that there are all sorts of people who have lost their jobs, who have been made targets by the left because of the fact that, hey, you know what? I wanted police reform. I didn't want to abolish the police. Hey, you know what? I see a place for prisons in our society. I do want prison reform, but I don't want to abolish prisons. Those are the type of people who tend to get attacked.
See, here's the thing. Here's what I don't understand. That I think we do need to acknowledge, right? So let's think about this for a minute, okay? Here's what I don't get is if you look at the right wing, Anna will say that most of the people on the right are not extremists. They're just regular people, okay, that maybe have some social concerns or concerns about crime. But you also do have to admit that there are some very extreme people on the right that are Nazis, neo-Nazis, whatever. And maybe Anna, she thinks not all people on the right, but there, without a doubt, there are Klansmen and neo-Nazis and all that shit in the Republican Party, okay? But yet the Republican Party is okay in Anna's eyes. She's not going to judge the whole party because of the neo-Nazis. But she will judge the entire left wing and the Democratic Party of the people who want to abolish the police. So what I'm wondering is why can't the people who abolish the police, you know, why can't they be like part of the fucking party and not have to be the whole thing, right? Like, why do the extremists in the left-wing party get portrayed as so much more dangerous, so much more damaging? Like, is really, like, the people who want to abolish the police, are they more dangerous than the fucking people that want to bring lynching back? I don't think they are, you know? But she'll fraternize with the party that hangs out with the people that want lynching back, but she doesn't want to fraternize with the people that hang out with the people that want to abolish the police. And that's really fucking bizarre to me. Okay? They will make exceptions for all the extremism in the right wing. And they will make concessions. Oh, I know I disagree with so much, but they agree on not attacking Iran. So now I'm going to sit at the table with them. But then Sam Seder will agree with 50% of their policy positions. And they're like, no, he attacked me. So now I'm never going to speak to him again. It's like, dude, they're so transparent.
And I know that.
If you're in the Republican Party, if you're a Nazi, you're welcome to join the Republicans. And in the Democrats, you're not. If you're even 10% of a Nazi, we're going to put a boot in your ass. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.